has started to stop broadcasting, press the share button and then select broadcast settings twice. Anyway, welcome to the Wrestling Gen show. I am the Sea Dog. Today we are going to cover Wrestlemania and talk about wrestling's opening day and the future of wrestling in these times, and I think we all know what I mean by these times, these cray-cray times. Anyway, as I bring up the matches from WrestleMania, if you have anything to comment, if you're watching live, which no one is yet, so I don't know why I'm saying this, maybe you watch future episodes, you feel free to make comments or ask questions in the chat, and I will try to respond to them. So anyway, I should have had this pulled up from the beginning. Oh well, live entertainment. The first match was Drew Gulak versus Cesaro. It was a short match. I thought it was a good match. But you know, it was really a kickoff show, so you might not even consider it part of WrestleMania. Lord knows WWE sometimes doesn't consider those matches. A lot of times don't consider those matches part of WWE, which is crazy. Like, they don't even count that match between Austin Aries and Neville, aka Pac, on the pre-show. Like, they cut those guys out of the DVD, and when they do that, those guys don't get their cut. Money-wise. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. As this cat joins me. That's what we get with home studios during these times. Doing shows at home. Animals, and hopefully not family members, can interrupt you. But, hold on. I'll have the WrestleMania lineup in a second. There we go. Results. Ow! Cats. Do. There we go. Okay, here we go. Cesaro vs. Drew Gulak. I just covered that one. After that, they'll teach me to eat during the show. After that, to open WrestleMania, if you don't count the kickoff show, we had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross challenge for the WWE Women's Tag Titles. Which you could say, there's an argument that those are the most prestigious titles maybe in all wrestling. Oh my gosh. Because though they... Where is that coming from? Anyway. Let me go somewhere else for the card. That's unbelievable. How are you going to have an ad but hide the ad so you don't even know what the ad's for, much less be able to click off it? Alright. Pulling up this page's results. Okay, this is giving me day 2. You can give me day 1. Wow, everything's going nice and smooth on this episode, the first episode of the show. Fantastic. It's a learning curve. Okay. Don't just give me night 2, jeez. Night 2. Night two. Night two. Give me 1 and 2. Okay, here we go. I hope. Wow. I am getting so much technical difficulty with this episode. So, that. Oh my gosh, load! Well, I hope you're getting entertained at least by my frustration. Like, what is this? Delete. Get it out. Thank you. Jeez. Okay, so the list you have for one page, you don't have for the other page. What the? Oh! Killing me, Smalls. Killing me. Anyway, yeah, dead air is terrible. If this stuff would work right, I wouldn't have any. Okay, let's go back to that original page. Maybe they won't do that crap. Oh my gosh, but now it needs to load. Why? This is all a conspiracy against me. Crap, I said conspiracy. Now my video's gonna get taken down. Anyway, so where I last left off is, alright, so you had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Wow, I can't even talk now. Challenging for the WWE Women's Tag Team title. And there's the crap. Pause it. Thank you. So anyway, what I was saying, the WWE Women's Tag Team title has an argument to be the most prestigious title in all of wrestling, and here's why. Though it's only in one promotion, it goes across 4 different brands. It's like a title being defended over 4 different promotions, almost. Anyway, a little short argument for there. So the problem with me reviewing this match is I didn't watch everything live, so I was behind a little. And a little glitch, I ended up jumping in right after they won the titles, Bliss and Cross. So it took away a lot of suspense, and I think that kind of hinders my input on that on that match. CBS gives it a B minus. So the match after that was King Corbin versus Elias. I was kind of hoping someone else would replace Elias. Like, oh, Elias couldn't be here. Gronk's like, well, you ain't having no freebie. You have to face this guy. And be like, oh my gosh, it's, whoever, like Keith Lee or something. I'm like, you had Elias. Elias won. And an okay match. I think CBS has it right by calling it a C. And then after that, surprisingly, I thought, was the Raw Women's Championship. It was like the 3rd match in. That match was good. It wasn't, like, fabulous. I was rooting for Shayna for starters. But, I would like the ending better if I hadn't seen it with Joe versus Balor a couple years ago. I guess that's kind of a nice gap between seeing that finish. But yeah, I don't know. That finish is so fresh in my mind. Like anytime someone with like a submission choke move, I'm always like, man, they're gonna beat him by reversing it, by flipping over, and well, if you saw Mania, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to describe. Just kind of lay on someone choking you, and then roll over top to where he's still choking you, but now your feet are behind the guy's head. If that makes sense. But yeah, so anyway, moving on. You had Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. I was disappointed in this match because I was like, ooh, Sami Zayn's gonna finally wrestle, and he's wrestling Daniel Bryan, both good wrestlers, great wrestlers, and it wasn't much. I think CBS was a little generous giving it a B. It wasn't much of a match. It was Daniel chasing Sami, catching Sami, beating up Sami. You almost start feeling bad for Sami. Sami gets a reversal, gets a bunch of punches in for the most part. Daniel reverses, is about to beat him, and then Cesaro and Shinsuke get the distraction by beating up Gulak, and then Sami gets the pin. I was kind of disappointed. And then after that, because The Miz was out, you had a singles triple threat match instead of a tag triple threat match. Well, ladder match between Kofi Kingston, Jimmy Uso, and the champion John Morrison. I'm glad the title didn't change hand. That'd be kind of if a tag title changes hand in a singles match. Though, I mean, it was a ladder match. It'd be a little different. I think I would have been happier with it had been Morrison on his own versus the Usos versus New Day. And you could still have Morrison win in a kooky ending where maybe like one Uso's on Kofi and Big E is on the other Uso while they're getting the belt, and then Morrison snags the belt. Could have been the same way. You know, they hit Morrison and Morrison grabs the belt and falls. I really gotta stop eating while I'm doing the show. Oh, a cat. Cat's laying on the lid. Anyway. And I realized that this is probably coming through YouTube as a gaming video. I need to fix that. Probably start doing the show through, Yeah, You know what I'm talking about. Through my computer. Sorry. Anyway, after that, we had the 24/7 little thing. Oh, by the way, yeah, I didn't even talk about the match. I fell asleep during the match. It had some interesting spots, but maybe because, now what is going on in here? Maybe because there was no fan reactions that took away from the match, but eventually I fell asleep during the match and then woke up right at the end, right after he got double headbutted. I just rewound and saw what happened. Alright, sorry about that. Anyway, to the next match. Oh yeah, 24/7. That's what I was talking about. Anyway, Mojo Rawley won the 24/7 title versus against R-Truth. It wasn't really a match. R-Truth tried to hide with Mojo and Gronk. Gronk hit him with the forearm. Tried to pin R-Truth. Rawley threw him off, pinned R-Truth, and then bolted. Said, I ain't running, playa, but then ran. So anyway, we went to the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match. That was Oh, something about that match felt like something was missing. I think I wanted AOP or at least Murphy at ringside. Something to give it a feel of Kevin was had a bigger challenge in front of him. It was interesting going into that match in that pay-per-view where Rollins talks like Owens never had any success at Mania. He won the U.S. title at Mania against Jericho. I mean, I know in his 365, McMahon didn't like the match, so maybe they're counting that as a failure. But I think, winning the U.S. title was a bigger win than beating Seth Rollins here, especially with Seth Rollins with no help. No, you beat a guy who a year before beat Brock Lesnar, so you gotta give him a little something there. TBS gave it a B plus. I don't know if I'd even agree with that. Maybe a B. It definitely had some big moments. Again, this might have been a match that would have been better if it had crowd reaction. Gets you hype and you hear them get hype. Maybe it was better if you were watching with people. I was watching alone. But anyway, we're moving on to the Universal title match. Roman Reigns was out. I still haven't seen why. I wanted to see what WWE had to say. I never heard what WWE had to say. I was like ignoring what WWE had to say about it. I mean, not WWE, what everyone else had to say about it, because I wanted to hear what WWE had to say about it. But never heard. But anyway, Braun Strowman gets to step in, replace Roman Reigns. And then you had a pretty much both men just hitting their finishers on each other till someone loses. And you get Braun Strowman's a champ. Going into this match, I was like, oh, they're gonna. Goldberg's probably gonna win, and that way they can do Goldberg Reigns at the next pay per view. Didn't occur to me till right before the match started that maybe Braun will win because Goldberg wasn't signed to go any past WrestleMania. Anyway, like I said, the match was just finisher against finisher over and over until someone won, and that person who won was Braun Strowman, who I am extremely happy for. His career was kind of meh. It's going so good, and then, WWE takes something going well, probably unplanned, and they kill it, or at least hurt it, and then this misfortune of, misfortunate for Roman Reigns. Opportunity for Braun, he steps in and gets the title, now he's a Universal Champion. So, and I'm really happy about that, and I'm really happy for him. I just really hope Roman Reigns didn't take the title from him. Maybe a Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman rivalry would be good. And then to finish night one, we had The Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a Boneyard match. That was an interesting boneyard, come to think of it. Anyway, if you didn't see the match, it was outdoors. It was in a cemetery, quote unquote. It was pretty entertaining, but it was a lot of just punches. You have a guy like AJ Styles, and all you have him doing is punching for the most part. Like, I'm thinking about the match, I'm trying to think if he did anything but punch. Both guys. I mean, I think Taker threw a kick once. It was mostly punches. Taker hit a tombstone on Carl Anderson on the roof of that one building, and then chokeslammed AJ into the... Did he chokeslam him? Or did you just kick him into the hole? There's parts of that match I thought they could have done better. They didn't need... When AJ was about to bury Undertaker, they didn't need that light to come on behind AJ. They should have just had it lit different and had him just come up creepily. The light coming on behind him didn't make any sense. I wasn't a fan of that. But overall, the match was for all the complaints I just gave it, it was pretty good. What did... And CBS gave it an A. Fair enough. I might give it an A minus, B plus. Probably A minus. Alright, let's go into night 2. The kickoff show saw Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Liv Morgan's outfit looked so uncomfortable. And I don't want to focus on women's outfits, but there's another match where I mentioned the women's outfit. But yeah, Liv Morgan's outfit looked incredibly uncomfortable. It looked too tight on the bottom, looked too tight on top. But anyway, the match, I mean, it was another average match like I don't even want to say like the Cesaro Gulak match, because Gulak was whipping out some moves like I hadn't seen before, or at least the way he put them on Cesaro. And watching Cesaro's like, I rarely see a match with Cesaro that I'm like, ew. But Liv Morgan, Natalya, it was like something you'd see on Raw, like a time filler. It was pretty good. It was cool to hear them talk. It's kind of cool in a lot of these matches to hear them conversate, and not like, them telling each other what to do in the match. Like two competitors would talk to each other. So that match, especially, the chatter was good. But it was an average match. CBS gives it a C plus. I'd agree. And then, shocking to me, the NXT Women's Championship opened the show. I don't know if that's good or bad. It went right from Gronk introducing the match to Charlotte's entrance. She came in, nothing special about her entrance, which kind of surprised me. And I was so disappointed they didn't do something Freddy Krueger intro with Rhea. Like, I had in my head they'd cut to this video of a blonde sleeping that would look suspiciously like Charlotte, and it would kind of transition over to like she's having a nightmare, and it looked like something out of Nightmare on Elm Street, and it'd be Rhea Ripley, and then it'd just come up to her as like, and she does her stomp thing, and it's like, bah, 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 bah. But no, nothing special except for her outfit. She went away from her usual black to this white and blue outfit, which made her go from like this metal chick to it looked like a superhero. I like the outfit though, and this is the only other time I'm going to mention a woman's outfit. It looked like she might fall out of her top. And here's a credit to the match. I wouldn't even think about it that much. Only when they cut up, they had a few pics where it was like, man, this is a really tight shot of Rhea, and it looks like she might fall out of her outfit if something goes wrong. But the match was so good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it was a boring match, I probably would have just been waiting for her to fall out of her top. Though, I'm sure if she's wrestling in it, probably built better than what it looked like to hold her. And like I said, to their credit, the match was so good, I barely thought of it. Like, it just popped in my head like twice for a second, and then I was right back in the match. Curious what CBS gives it. Yeah, A minus. What? They think the Boneyard match was better? No. I thought that was an A match for sure. And then, anyway, one of the best parts about that match is I wasn't sure where they were going with this. I thought maybe Charlotte could win, but I thought Rhea would. I thought this was going to be like a match where, we can build up Rhea, and we do something with Charlotte before she gets married and goes out on her honeymoon with Andrade. And I kind of thought, I'll tell you what I thought about Andrade when we get to the tag team match. But Charlotte wins. She's the NXT champion. I'm curious if the Corona thing was helped make that decision of who won that match. Because now, like, maybe she doesn't go get married right now. Maybe they hold off till they can have a good wedding and have people over, and then they can go somewhere on their honeymoon. Not just, hey, let's pretty much elope and then hang out in the hotel. So anyway, let's get to the next match. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Charlotte, Rhea, and the NXT Women's Division, which is one of the best divisions in all of wrestling. Alright, so next we had Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley. This match I was very excited for. There's no build-up, really. Like, you could have at least had Lana be like, "You're going to lose" on like an episode of Raw, and you know, Aleister responds with some clever promo or something. But nothing. There was no hype, even though you have two guys who fight a very realistic style, kickboxer and wrestling, amateur wrestling. But anyway, yeah, CBS has a good point. They were in a bad spot too, following Flair and Rhea, because it's hard to follow a great match. I mean, though, I think that's more of a thing when you have a crowd, because you follow a really great match, the crowd is usually like so hyped from that match, the next match isn't going to live up to it, and then the crowd's kind of like, that's their catch their breath match. But anyway, this match was good. It was a good match. It wasn't spectacular, but it was better than good. CBS gave it a B minus. I'd at least give it a B plus. The ending kind of was good for Bobby, because it was like, yeah, you had this one won, but then you listened to your woman. So it also had the message of not listening to your woman. I'm just kidding, calm down. But it did have that message. But yeah, Aleister Black wins when Lana says, no, don't do that, because Lashley was about to do the Dominator, or some other move that they call the Dominator that wouldn't be the Dominator anyway. So instead of doing the Dominator, Lashley sets up for the spear that gets turned into the Black Mass. 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black wins, and then Lashley gets up and stares down Lana like, "You've messed me up." And Lana looks at him like, "You're a disappointment." Sounds like a date. Anyway, we move on to the next match. It's Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. I definitely think this match could have been better, especially knowing Otis has an amateur background. It's pretty much just one of those things where the little man gets a big man down, beats him on him, and then the big man gets a little offense to come back. And then you had Sonya with the distractions, which was... I'm still trying to figure out why Sonya was a winner in Mandy being with Dolph. I mean, I saw SmackDown. I just still don't get why Sonya is so pro Dolph versus Otis. CBS gave it a C plus. I'd probably agree with that. It was... The Mandy spot was good. It was kind of expected, but then, you know, it kind of came out of... I don't even want to say it came out of nowhere. I kind of forgot about Mandy. Be interesting to see what they do with Mandy and Sonya here after this. What's that, kitty? Yes. Yeah, I don't know what the cat said. It's too late, too early for me to understand cats. So anyway, Otis got the win with Mandy's nut shot on Dolph, and Otis hit the caterpillar elbow, which is crazy. If that's all he has to do with win, he could probably hit that elbow, you know, without doing the caterpillar and almost any time in the match where he gets a guy down. So after that, you have Edge and Orton in the last man standing match. It was an interesting match. Wow, CBS gave it a C minus. I'm not huge in the last man standing matches because the pace is very slow. Because you usually have all these breaks where they try to count for 10 seconds. But there were some good spots there. They definitely tried to make it dramatic. I think C minus is harsh, but like a really good good review would be kind of over top 2, so like a B. And I'm not a big fan of Edge, but I'll give him. It was a good match. Anyway, moving on, we got Gronkowski defeating Mojo Rawley for the 24/7 title. Rawley is being chased by a bunch of people I don't recognize. Gronk jumps off the balcony onto everybody, pins Rawley. Rawley's shoulder's not even on the ground. Gets the belt, leaves, and Titus O'Neil takes over as host. So anyway, we go to the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory. Here's what I was saying. I was thinking that Andrade, it was possible he didn't even have a rib injury like they were saying. It was just something that were like, well, we want to get the belts off of the Profits and give it to Garza and, Vega's team. But Andrade is going off on his honeymoon, so replace him with whoever or something. Obviously that wasn't the case, or maybe they liked that plan and then they weren't confident in Austin Theory. Anyway, Street Profits won. Okay match. I liked the finish. It was a little surprising finish. It was kind of illegal of a finish because the finisher was the From the Heavens frog splash on a pin breakup, which is weird. I'm always like, why is that a finisher, or why is that a finish if the move's illegal? Now, granted, you're technically allowed to break up a pin like 1 to 3 times, I think, in the rule book. So not so much that one, but like closed fist, anyone has like a punch as a finisher. Closed fist to the face is illegal. I think WWE's, they've even addressed, it's like, we don't even care about that now. It's not even in the rules. But this does set up for a Street Profits and a Bianca Belair, who I am guessing is going to go to Raw after she came down for the save. When Vega and her boys were beating up Montez Ford, that's Bianca Belair's husband in real life, and I'm sure they'll address that. They're married on the show. I think she's coming to Raw with the Profits, and they're going to feud with Vega and whatever combination she has. CBS gave it a C+. That's I don't know, I'd give it a B-. Okay, then you had the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley versus Sasha Banks versus Lacey Evans versus Tamina versus Naomi. Tamina came out beating everyone up, and then everyone hits a turnbuckle splash or elbow, or let's see, Bayley hit the elbow. Banks hit the second rope frog splash. She does a nice little frog splash. And then Lacey hit the moonsault, and Naomi hit the split-legged moonsault, and they all jumped on top of Naomi and pinned her. It was kind of messed up. How did they get rid of Naomi? Anyway, they pretty much double-teamed Naomi, pinned her, tried to double-team Lacey, a couple of miscommunications, bit bam boom, women's right to Sasha Banks, pin, while Bailey sits there like a deer in headlights. And then when it looks like Lacey Evans is about ready to finish the match, in comes Sasha Banks. It's a bank statement on her, and Bailey gets a pin, and everyone's happy. Well, everyone being Bailey and Sasha Banks. They gave it a B minus. I'd agree with that. Then you had John Cena versus Fiend, aka Bray Wyatt, in the Firefly Funhouse match. That, I mean, it wasn't much of a match. It was more of a, I think Titus O'Neil said it best. After the match, they cut to Titus O'Neil, and he was like, I don't know what I just saw. It was kind of a match. What did CBS give it? A plus. Like, I'm hesitant to give it something that good. That's like saying it was a 6-star match. It'd been interesting to see what would happen in that match if Matt Hardy hadn't left, if you'd been incorporated into that, because that match, especially the Boneyard match too, to agree, were very Matt Hardy, Ultimate Deletion, Tag Team Apocalypse, and all those other cinematic matches. This one was a trip though, and very interesting. It was kind of like, did Vince get to have a say in this match at all? Because they kind of knocked him a few times in it. But then they knocked Cena too, so it's kind of weird to see Cena. Like, I don't know, maybe he's like, yeah, he agrees with people's opinion on him. But I mean, it's like, yeah, I know I get all these breaks, but am I supposed to not take them? And he's at the point in his career where he can get away with being, criticizing management and just go on with whatever the heck he's doing, make Fast 5, 6. Anyway, and then after that, we had the main event. I'm surprised they didn't have like a breather match between there. I'm gonna sneeze, no, it's not Corona. I mean, I'm not gonna. Yep, here it is. So yeah, we had Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. This match was a lot like the other WWE World Title match, men's World Title match. There was a lot of finishers until someone lost. There was a little more wrestling at the very beginning before they went going finisher crazy. But like the Goldberg match, I expected it to be finishers until somebody won. I was kind of hoping McIntyre and Lesnar would have been a little more wrestling. Fortunately, not so much. And McIntyre got up from, kicked out of like 2 or 3 F5s. The first one at the 1 count. Like, where do you go with that with Drew? Like, how do you put Drew away now? Like, after he's taken those, is somebody gonna hit one finisher and be? Oh, my ears, just sorry. Is somebody gonna hit one finisher and take the title from him? Which, by the way, Drew McIntyre finally won the title. Happy for him too. If you hadn't heard, there was talk that Lesnar had an issue with the way things were being run on the tapings, and went into Vince McMahon's office and threw a fit. I wonder if that match has been different. If Lesnar would be in a good mood, because it seems like there's wrestlers he likes and is willing to work with, and then other times maybe he's just lazy, and he's willing to have a good match. Like AJ, Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor all had these great matches with these guys. I thought he had a really good match with Dean Ambrose, even though Dean Ambrose acts like, it wasn't. It sounded like that one was very, yeah, we'll figure it out while we're out there. Um, even though Dean wanted to like really get into making an elaborate classic between those two. I think Lesnar liked Ambrose. I think he likes all those short, smaller guys. I think he likes Drew because the way the match went. Same with Goldberg. I think he's cool with Goldberg. There's some matches with people. He's like, whatever. Let me just suplex sometimes and let me just F5 them, and we'll call it a day. Or maybe, it's not even the guys he don't like. It's like if he's with a guy he doesn't really care about, he'll just, yeah, this is what we're gonna do, and it's gonna end real quick, and that's it. But anyway, that's a lot of speculation. Anyway, Drew McIntyre is your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. They really need to stop saying undisputed because the Universal Champion is also a World Champion. And the NXT Champion's a World Champion now. Which, by the way, brings me to this plug for Wrestling Generation League. Returns soon, and the first match is a triple threat between those three guys: Adam Cole, Bebe, the NXT Champion, the Universal Champion Braun Strowman, and the WWE World Champion Drew McIntyre. So like, subscribe, turn on notifications to find out when that happens. Anyway, so now Mania is over. It's opening day of pro wrestling. Obviously Raw will have something. AEW will have something. It's very interesting because it's like opening day. It's almost like wrestling in general is almost starting completely over. Because you have so many companies not working right now. The only companies I can think of are AEW, WWE, and Stardom. Which kind of brings me to my next point is we're going to start doing rankings based off of match results. And that'll give us like a, who did best this year. Here's how many points they earned this year. They're the best wrestler this year. Give them their props. Also, we're going to rank belts. We'll just rank them as we see them. You pop up with a belt and defend it. We will put it in the ranking list and figure out where in the rankings it should be based off of the other belts in there. So anyway, though, when we do back it up a little. What we're going to do is, when we're doing the wrestler rankings, we're only doing it for the top few, or not top few, I don't even know if say brand or promotion, brand/promotions. So like the top 12 to 16, and it has to be matches that are on TV, because nowadays there's no excuse you don't have a match visible either on television, on a streaming service, or on YouTube or Twitch. We actually made a list of the shows we're going to do, but then Corona, and that might heavily affect that. See if I can pull this up. Should have had it ready. Stuff to know for the next show. If I hold this out long enough, it'll give me time to find what I'm looking for. I'll just look in the search. Put Raw. Here we go. So our initial list, which is probably going to change with this Corona mess, is WWE, which is Raw, 205 Live, NXT, Main Event. Main Event or Superstars, whichever show they're still doing. NXT UK, SmackDown, and pay-per-views. Then you got Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, as well as Explosion. We had Lucha Underground if it came back, which I don't think it is. We had NWA, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and Championship Wrestling from Arizona, Major League Wrestling, and Evolve. as well. We had New Japan, CMLL, AAA. We were figuring out what other UK wrestling to do, but really, if we can't find it to watch it, like seriously, it's not hard to make a YouTube channel. People will watch it. You'll be able to sell advertising, put your Patreon, all this. Instead, they're at best you get like old matches and like hype videos. And then there's women's wrestling companies, which we were going to do WoW, but now I think that Impact is on Access. They bumped off New Japan and WoW, I think. But it's hard to tell with WoW because WoW does seasons, and their season ended, but there's no word about them coming back. So what we do know now is WWE is around, AEW is around, and Stardom, I believe, is around, and we can watch them all. I think. I gotta double check Stardom, how up to date their YouTube video is, because if they're putting stuff out, you know, months late, this happened half a year ago. We're not counting that. Yeah. So anyway, that's about all we got for today. Not sure when we'll be back. We're still figuring things out. Well, maybe this will be a regular thing, like Sunday night, Monday morning kind of thing, because that's kind of the end of the week. End of the wrestling week is Sunday. Beginning of wrestling week is Monday. Because, you know, all those pay-per-views are on, like, Sunday usually. Sometimes you get Friday, Saturday, but blah, blah, blah. Unless you're New Japan, and it's kind of just like whenever. Which, by the way, we will start posting, we're going to get a Facebook page back soon, called Wrestling Gens. Keep an eye out for that. It might be called Wrestling Gens and WGL. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah. So we post the 5 to 7 shows to watch every week. We did that a little bit before. We're bringing that back. Obviously this week it's everything WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live, NXT UK. Yeah. And then AEW, that's... I got a math real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just... We'll say Stardom. Just look up Stardom on YouTube and watch their latest videos this week, at the end of the week. And then we'll see what this Corona thing does. This could put some promotions out of business. There's one thing for like WWE and certain other promotions to be able to do these no crowd shows, but these smaller promotions might know how to do that. They might owe money to people that they thought they'd make on doing shows that would be going on now. And who knows if a lot of people are not liking these no crowd shows. The energy's like kind of low for some people, like too low for them. And if they go away, do they come back? So we'll see what happens with that. Make this a 50-minute episode. But we'll be here to give you our 2 cents on everything. Like and subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. Find us on Facebook. You know we're not on there yet. Keep an eye out. What else? Yeah. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Sneeze into your elbow. I don't think what else you're supposed to do. Live long and prosperous. Anyway, this is the Sea Dog. Happy opening day of pro wrestling. We'll see how this year turns out. enjoy wrestling.